Hello, my name is Kashif Summers, if you don't know. And this is the first episode of something that prayerfully, hopefully, something that lasts a long time. You know, hopefully something that I could build into like a brand, maybe. Like, ideally, I think like when I think of where I want to end up when it's all said and done is something like Barstool. Now, for the older people that are watching this, you probably don't know, but for all my slutty teenage women, you've drank Pink Whitney, but I bet you would have no idea that Pink Whitney is a Barstool drink or sponsored by Barstool. And that's kind of like where I want, that's kind of where I want my brand to be, just be so big that even like the high schools are like Barstool Binghamton, Barstool Endicott, like that's how big I want my brand to be. And hopefully, prayerfully, it starts here. So this is the beginning of a podcast that I want to start. I don't even know if anyone's ever going to hear this. I'm going to re-listen to it, and if it's not good, I'm never going to post it. I don't even know how to do it. I don't even know. I don't know. But it's going to be like a work in progress. First episode's never going to be perfect, and if you can hear my dogs, I feel like that's going to be a part of like the charm of this. I'm going to try my hardest to make sure all of this is like on the fly. Like I may hit the pause button if something Jurassic happens. Like if they start fighting right now and it gets loud, I would pause, and then I would keep going once I got them to quiet down. But try to be like very unfiltered because like at the end of the day, I want a sports broadcast. And when I'm done playing basketball, that is the goal, sports broadcast and talk on the news. And, you have a script, but a lot of that stuff is on the fly. Like when the bench player scores 20, like that happens randomly and you're going to have to figure out a way to, to be entertaining during that. It's easy when your script is telling you cheer for LeBron, but when Bronny James has a great game, So that's what I'm going to try to do here. No script, just a main plot point, 3 main points, and then the last main point tying everything together. So yeah, today I think I'm going to talk about me, something that I love to do, and just give people an understanding or a somewhat better understanding of who Kashif Summers Jr. is. So first of all, like I said, my name is Kashif Anthony Summers Jr., KJ for short. I am 5'10 and a half, around 180 pounds. I have pretty long hair. And yeah, I love God. I love basketball. I like girls. I love music so very much. I love making people happy. I love making people feel appreciated. I like to party. Yeah. My mom's name is Lataya J. Fan. Her maiden name was Lataya J. Swaby. And she is first generation American. My grandparents on my mother's side are both from Jamaica. One grandparent is from Kingston, the other from Spanish Town. And I think that had a large impact of how I was raised. Both my mother's parents are deceased, and they have been for all of her life. So a lot of the parenting she got were from people that weren't her parents. All of the parenting she got was from people that weren't her parents, and being raised by people that are immigrants or people that were not. So that's all she was raised by, and then when you get raised by someone that was raised that way, there's definitely a culture shock and a culture imbalance, and I think that played a major role on the person that I became or that I have become. My father, Kashif Anthony Summers Sr., pretty stand-up guy. He a little bit of a hothead. Along with my mother, was not raised by his parents, raised by his grandparents, my great-grandparents. Very cool people, but, everybody knows that once a generation is done, then the parents get softer, So, hard on his mom, soft ish on him, and then very soft with us. Us as in the great grandkids. And if God sees fit, they are definitely going to be great grandparents because they're very young people. I think my grandmother is 73 and my grandfather is, get this, 7 years younger than her. Yeah, just a moment of silence for that. So yeah, most likely we'll be great grandparents with my cousin turning 20 this upcoming January. This upcoming January. And then I don't think I'm gonna have kids. So yeah, that's like the background information. I have 7 siblings. My oldest sister, Meadow. There's a very common joke that I am the little big brother because she's older than me by a year and a few months, but I act like the oldest. No, she's older than me by 9 months, and I very much do act like the oldest. I'm very much like, oh, do you have $1? Can you give me a ride? But I love her to death, and we are very, very, very similar in a lot of ways. More ways that I like to admit. But yeah, she's a crazy girl, and we are pretty cool, I'd say. My second oldest sister, Melody, we are very close. We are actually going to the same school this upcoming fall. She's very, very nice girl. She's very nice, but she tries to pretend she's mean. She's been through a lot, as we all have. She doesn't know how to cope though. And because she doesn't know how to cope, and I'm one to talk, but because she doesn't know how to cope, she puts up this big wall. But if you ever get to know Melody, she's actually a very genuine, sweet, and very kind person. But you're going to have to do some digging to find that. But we are also very similar. And I think that I hold a lot of weight in both of their lives, but definitely a lot of weight in my little sister's eyes. She's only 6 months younger than me, so it's hard to do that like authority role, like stop, listen to me, because we're born in the same year. But for the most part, she and all my other siblings listen when I tell them to do stuff, because I'm not a bossy person, and 9 times out of 10 if I'm saying do something, it's for your own good. My third oldest sister, Maya, she and I are not that close. I'm not that close with any of my siblings, but I'm not that close with my second youngest sister, Maya. I love her to death though. She's a very sweet girl, very happy, very pretty girl. And I hope that she knows that I love her. I love all my siblings, of course, but I hope that she knows that I do love her. We don't talk much. We don't have that many common interests. She's not like I love music, I love fashion, I love basketball, and she's kind of just like not there at all. She's like, when I play music, she's like, oh my gosh, turn this off. And when she plays music, same thing. So we're not that close, but I do love her to death, and she's a very, very, very sweet girl. She's definitely the sweetest out of all my siblings. And she's good with her hands. She does a lot of handiwork around the house. When I don't want to do something, I'll summon her and she'll do it. Always. She knows how to change oil, by the way. So, on my second youngest sister from my mom, Nala, very, very tall. She's about 6 foot, going into the 9th grade. Does not play basketball, does not play volleyball. She is as good as a little sister you can get. Terrified of boys, still plays with dolls, likes K-pop, dances to herself, talks to herself. I love her. She's a great, great, great girl. She's getting a little sassy. Whenever I hear her curse, I get like, oh. But I remember like I was doing far worse when I was in 9th grade. But yeah, that's her. She's a very nice girl. Very dark. I love it. Very, very dark with clear skin. And then my youngest sister, I probably just said youngest sister, but my youngest sister on my dad's side and my only sister on my dad's side is Kayana. She's a pretty great sister, and I could tell she looks up to me a lot, even though she won't admit it. Same thing with Melody, very big wall up. She only has brothers, and she definitely needs like an older girl to look up to, but like not like a mom, like a sister. Yeah, and I haven't done a good job of keeping any girls around long enough that she gets that bond with a girl. So, but I love her. She's very sweet, and I don't know. I hope that when we get older, we get a lot closer because I really do enjoy her company and she's a very nice girl. And then my baby brother, Kair, he is a lunatic. He's white. I'm not even joking. He is white. And he hates it. Nothing wrong with it. We have the same dad. Like, he's obviously a nigga, and if you see him, you can, like, kind of tell that he's black. But he's very white. And because of that, he's having an identity crisis, as any black kid that is white would have. And, you know, sometimes he'll, like, be like, oh, like, nigga this, nigga that. And I'm like, nigga, please. You know, I just want him to know that, like, you don't have to do that. But he's a baby. He's 11 years old. And he's going to grow into it, I think. But I feel like every kid has an identity crisis. And then I can't imagine how hard it is to know that you're black, be raised by a black man, have black siblings, and then be super pale when it's the wintertime. Right now, you know he's black, but when it gets wintertime, you know, story for another time, though. And then I have a baby brother that is actually a baby named Kaivon. Nothing really to say about him. He doesn't like me very much. He's a baby. Wasn't too happy when I learned about him, which is another story for another time. I used to be jealous of my siblings when I was little because I was an only child for a good amount of time. But as I got older, anytime I was upset about anything with my siblings, it was because I was looking out for them or for my parents. But, you know, I think blessing in disguise Kaivon was, you know. I don't know how many people want to have a kid when they're 40-something, but, you know, good for him. Good for my dad. Good for the baby. He's a happy baby. Smiley. Fatty. Love him. Cool dude. Very, very cool dude. And that is me. That is me. That is my family background. I also have 4 god siblings. I'll keep this part brief. My oldest god sibling, Jaden, tank, absolute tank, coolest dude ever. Obviously, everyone has flaws. But I genuinely cannot tell you a flaw that Jaden has. I can see him maybe being a little bit of a hothead, but I've never seen him. I've genuinely never seen him do anything that I could be like, bro, this is bad. I think when we were a little bit younger, he used to get like too mad, maybe, but genuinely one of the coolest guys I've ever met in my life. Very down to earth, big like anime guy. His girlfriend is hot, very nice lady, and it's really ironic because he never got girls ever. And then I remember seeing the girlfriend on the bus one day going to a basketball game, and everybody was talking about how hot she was. And then like a year later, he was dating her, and I thought that was like the coolest thing ever because like good for him. My brother's not ugly at all, but he just never talked to girls growing up. So super dope guy. And then my little brother Tristan, you guys know Tristan. You probably know Tristan. He's a cool dude. He's a little bit cocky, a lot of bit cocky. And I wish we got to spend more time together now because I feel like these are the good years where I need to, you know, kind of guide him in the right direction because he does have some flaws, as we all do, but he has a lot of like things that I want to be like, hey, like I love you and I care about you, so I'm telling you stop doing that. But if anybody else says it, it's going to sound like they're hating. But I'm your brother, so you know I love you and you know I care about you. I'm not hating. I'm telling you like this is not a good habit to have. But hopefully he figures out his own way because I was pretty rough at this time in my life too. But a very cool dude, handsome dude, very athletic, just fun to be around. Like he's a guy that makes things better, you know. Being around him just feels good, you know. Then I have a little sister named Taylor, sassy gal, but the last time I saw her, she was very happy. I haven't seen her in a long time, longer than I would like to admit, but yeah, she's very pretty, very pretty. She's very good at cheer, very good at dance, very popular, you know. Like I don't know. I don't know. If you could see her, you would understand exactly what kind of girl she is because she looks how she is, you know. Then I have a little sister named JoJo. Very quiet. Very pretty like her sister and their mom, but less like attention attracting. Like she attracts attention because she's also good at dancing. Very pretty, but she's just kind of like in her own world. I don't think I think it'll be a lot of Taylor's little sister or Tristan's little sister rather than like, oh, there goes JoJo, there goes Jordan, which is not always a bad thing, but I think that will be the case. And that's it. That is my siblings. That is my siblings. So, I'm gonna talk about next my personality, and then my morals, and then I'll wrap it up. So, if you've ever heard anything about me, I think one of two things would have been said. Well, one of three things. One, probably that I was nonchalant, which I'm not saying that I am. And if you do say that you are nonchalant, then you probably are not nonchalant. Two, I talk to a lot of girls, and that is like the nice way of saying it. You probably heard that I was a whore. And three, you probably heard that I was good at sports. I'll say like 1.5 of those things are true. So first of all, I do not think I'm nonchalant. And for any younger kid, like, listening to this, if anybody ever does listen to this, do not try to be nonchalant. I will never sit there and go out of my way and try to be, like, not feeling something or not, like, happy or giddy. I love being happy. I love smiling. That's why a lot of times when you do see me, I am cheesing. I am not intentionally a nonchalant person now. I'm very in touch with my emotions, and I do feel a lot of, like, contentment. And with feeling that contentment, I'm not going to be, like, smiling all the time, you know? Sometimes I will stare at you with a cold face. Sometimes I am cold. Sometimes I'm having a bad day. But one thing, I will never walk out of my house like, make sure today you're horrifying me. No, like, I'm just me, you know? And sometimes Kashif is not. If you see my dad, he's very rarely smiling. If I see my dad for 365 days, I will probably see him smile in maybe 60 of those days. And I would say probably 300 of those days, he's having a fine day. He's happy. He's okay. But he just is not a smiler. And I feel like I'm somewhat adopting that trait. I hope I can smile all the time. But that's just, at the moment, that's not who I am. When I was younger, I tried to be who I am now. I remember I talked to my stepdad, who I don't know why I didn't bring him up, but very influential guy in my life. I think that I'm gaining, like, all the good traits of him and my dad, and that's why I'm becoming such a solid person. I'm not going to say a great person or a good person, but I'm a pretty solid person because I got both of their good traits and kind of threw away their bad. But I remember in 8th grade, he told me, like, stop being so, like, crazy, bro. Like, tone it down and, like, attract. When you go from to quiet and you let everybody come to you, like, your life will get so much simpler. So at the time, I wasn't ready for that. And I tried it, and it actually helped a lot. I'm not going to lie. 8th grade was one of the best years of my life, but COVID happened. So I didn't get to see the way that was going to play out. But, like, just taking that time to myself and, like, trying to figure out who you are before you try to be in people's face helped a lot. And then, like, going into 9th grade, I was very insecure. I self-harmed. People think I'm, like, super sad now. I'm really not. You know, I do and say a lot of like, quote unquote sad things, but I'm fine, bro. I'm fine. I told my mom the other day, I was like, I'm not like sad anymore. I would never self-harm, and I don't know the last time I was sad, but I'm not happy all the time, you know? So if that makes sense. But and then, like, 9th grade, I was very, like, in a dark place. I was self-harming a lot, and I hated myself. I thought I was very ugly. And then I think I was just young, too. I don't think I was ugly. I think I was just young. And then I kind of got over that hump 9th grade summer because I had no social media. I got my phone taken away. This evil woman that I was talking to was out of my life. And then, like, it kind of got better from there. So from there, it went from I hate myself to nobody looks as good as me. I'm the best. You'll never find anyone as good as me, which is bad. And then, like, I was trying my hardest to be, like, nonchalant, but I was still depressed. I was still sad. I still cared about things. I was not, I dislocated my elbow, and it ruined my jump shot completely. You know, like, I had a rumor, well, not a rumor. It's just kind of a truth. I'm not a very good shooter. Well, I wasn't a very good shooter in high school. I'm a very good shooter now. And if you want to find out, come to the Southern Tier Community Center or come to TC3, and I will show you how good of a shooter I am now. But I was a very good shooter when I was in 9th grade. I would hit 2 threes a game, and I came off the bench and played very little. I would literally get a screen as soon as I got in, get a screen to the right, dribble one time, side swipe, 3. Every game, twice. So when that happened to my elbow, like, a large part of my identity was shooting the ball. But now I couldn't shoot. So I didn't really have that much of a bag because I was so easy to take a sidestep, the person knowing I'm going to shoot, jumping, and then me going by them, that like now they just knew to take a step back, and that ruined my confidence a lot. So still trying to act like I'm all tough and whatever, and plus like the COVID mask helped. But I was a sad boy, you know. I cared about, I love hard, you know, and I love to smile, like I said. So like trying to be like, Arr. 11th grade, there was kind of a tide switch. I kind of stopped being like arrogant, and I was just more confident. But that didn't really come until like 12th grade. 12th grade was when I dropped that, like, I'm the hottest, whatever. Because I know I'm not the most attractive person in the world. And now I can say, like, I'm attractive. I know that I'm attractive because I'm attracted to myself. And that's all anyone ever needs. All you need is to be the best version of yourself to yourself, and then nothing else matters. As long as you're the best version of yourself to yourself and to God, if you believe, then you are doing the right things in life. That is all that matters. All that matters, you know. And I think that's why I am who I am, you know. I am not looking for approval. I don't need approval. One of my worst character traits is when I do something good in sports, not looks, but when I do something good in sports, I will post it because I want like people to be like, oh, he is good now. He is good now, because I had so many years of my life where people doubted me. That's my worst trait, because the only validation I need is from God. The only validation any of us need is from God or ourselves. You know, I windmilled the other day, and I was so, like, the first thing I thought of was like, I'm so excited to post this. Like, what? What? I'm so excited to post this? No. I'm so proud of you, KJ. I think all of us need to adopt that trait of, I'm so proud of you, self. I'm so proud of you. God is so proud of you. You are going through so much, and you're pushing, and you're being strong, and you're getting through whatever you're going through. I'm so proud of you. And then you don't need to post on Instagram. You don't need to post on Snapchat, because you did it for you, and you did it for God, and God saw you do it, and you did it yourself. So nobody else needs to know, you know. And that is why I am the way I am. I'm not nonchalant. I'm not war farming. I'm just very content with myself. I love Kashif Summers. I love Kashif Summers more than anyone else could love Kashif Summers, excluding God. And with that being said, like, sometimes I don't need to go in everybody's face and smile. A million girls in this world could tell me that I'm ugly or that they don't like me, which has happened, and I will never, like, lose my stride. I'm always going to walk the way I walk. I'm always going to act the way I act, because I love myself. I love myself. I'm a cool dude, and nobody else is going to make me feel like I'm not. And it's as simple as that. And everybody needs to adopt that. So don't try to shut off your feelings. Don't try to be someone else. Like, love. If you're a happy person, be happy. Stop, like, seeing people being nonchalant and being like, oh, okay, this is what I need to. No. Be yourself. Be yourself. That's me. That is me. Somewhat. I have a lot more, but that is, like, the good side of KJ. Morals. I'm a Christian man. I have a cross and a Bible scripture on my body. My first two tattoos. I always have a cross around my neck. And a lot of times I have cross earrings. I'm very religious. I read a Bible scripture or two a day. I try to pray like 3 times a day. Once in the very early morning. One midday through the day before I'm about to do something. And then I pray before I go to bed. I haven't been to church in a long time. I went to a very homophobic church, and I'm sorry, I can't agree with that. I'm positive gay is not a choice. It's very off topic, but I guess it does go with the morals aspect. I'm going to lose a lot of people here, but hear me out. When you woke up and you looked at a girl and you were like, whoo, oh my gosh, that girl is so pretty. I want to do X, Y, and Z to that girl. When you woke up and you looked at that boy and you said, oh my goodness, that boy is so handsome. I want to do X, Y, Z to that boy. Did you have to force yourself to do that? Did you have to think? I'm choosing to think. No, you saw them. It was natural. The feelings overcome you. You never had to think about it. When I look at a guy, I don't have to be like, I really want to. No, I don't have those feelings. I know I don't have those feelings. I'm around guys all the time. I play basketball. I've had male friends, and never once have I ever gotten the feeling like, oh my gosh, wow. I get around girls and it's instant. I don't even have to think about it. It's just natural because that's what I like. So, like, when people tell me that gay is a choice, I'm genuinely, like, in awe. Because, like, how could you possibly believe that? And if that is a choice, then I'm genuinely concerned, and I want to know the process of you looking at your preferred sex and being like, oh, I'm choosing to be attracted to this kind of girl. Like, that's weird. Anywho, church, very homophobic. Couldn't deal with that. So I haven't been to church in a long while. But I still pray as much as I can. I go to Monday night prayer often because I think God is more likely to hear your prayers when you're praying with a large group of people. I think that if I really was going to go to hell, I would go to hell for my lust addiction. And I'll come back to that. But I'm a very unjudgmental person. You can tell me anything in this world. It's very bad. I've heard a lot of things. I've heard a lot of things. And I'm not going to, I'll never judge you for it. I might tell you I don't agree. I might say, I wouldn't do that. But I'm never going to be like, you are a bad person or you whatever. Because I sin. We all sin. And we sin in ways that we're comfortable sinning. And even if you're not religious, because a sin is a sin is a sin. Even if you're not religious, you are doing something bad. But we all sin. And what we do is we like to pick and choose which sins are quote unquote okay for us to do. So then when we see people doing the sins that we think are okay, it's okay. But then when we see people doing the sins that we don't like, that's when it's bad. My least favorite sin is lying. I hate lying. I will never talk to you again if you lie to me. I have a long history of liars in my life. My little sister Melody and Maya, oh my goodness, they're the best liars I've ever met in my life. My mom and my dad, unfortunately, are very big liars as well. And they're my family, so that's something I can brush off. But because of that, I have a very difficult time trusting people. I don't trust anyone. I don't even trust myself. So when it comes to lying, I'm already expecting that lie. And if I get it, I already told you I don't like lying. I told you I wasn't going to judge you. So if I'm telling you I'm not going to judge you, and I told you I don't like lying, and I found out you lied to me, there's really no plausible reason for me to keep you in my life, in my opinion. However, I say that, and anytime in your day, if you ever need a condom, KJ Summers will have one, because KJ Summers without woman is like the ocean with no fishes. I'll say that one more time. KJ Summers without woman is like hell with no fire. But I'm going to yell at you or be frustrated with you because you lied to me. So it's like you pick and choose which sins are okay for you. And that's just how everyone lives their life. Religious or not. That's just human nature, I believe. And I think that's really it there. I just don't like lying. And back to the lust thing, I think me and my mom talk about this often. I'm very close to my mom. Talking-wise, I think we are very similar, so I think that's where we're not very close. And we have very different beliefs in a lot of things. But we're close in the aspect that I know I could tell my mother anything. If I killed someone, I could tell my mom I killed someone, and she'd tell me whatever she'd tell me, but I know I could tell her. So she tells me about, I don't know what she calls it, semen retention or something. And I don't say this to my mom because it's my mom, but whenever anything bad happens to me, I feel like my coping mechanism is 1A, play basketball, or 1B, girls. And if it's 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm anxious, I can't go play basketball. So you know what I'm going to do? I don't need to say what I'm going to do. You know what I'm going to do. So that's just been my life. And I genuinely am thinking there's never a point in my life where I don't know what sex is. I'm talking about 3 years old. I do not know a single point in my life where I don't know what sex is. And there's not a single point in my life where I'm not craving it, which is probably bad. No. I know it's bad. But I don't know where that came from. I don't know why that is. But morally, I used to have a past of trying to be evil to people because somebody hurt my feelings. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to hurt everyone else's. I've grown out of that. I try to be as honest as possible. I have no intentions of dating anyone. I recently lost the love of my life, everyone. So I will not be tapping into that pool ever again. I'll never let myself feel that strongly about anyone ever again. If it happens, it happens. But I will try my hardest not to let that happen to me again. And it was literally my fault, which makes it so much worse. But I'm very honest and I'm very blunt. People are always like, how do you say that to girls? But I'm so serious. If you're not that cool and I don't really want to talk to you, but I find you attractive, I would genuinely say to you, hey, do you want, I don't say it like this, but I'm like, hey, do you want to have sex? Yes? Okay. Do you want to have sex? No? Okay, then we don't really need to talk anymore. And I genuinely don't think that there's anything wrong with that. As long as you're being honest and upfront about it. Don't, like, be telling girls you love them, and then, like, when you have sex with them, you're like, oh, actually, that's me. And morally, that's not okay for a lot of people, and I've heard that from everyone, but for me, that's something I can live with. And I'd rather that than lie. Like, I'd rather a girl say to me, oh, I'm not really interested in you. I'm not really interested in you sexually, but I would love to be your friend. Or I'm not very interested in you emotionally, but I'd love to have sex with you. That's what I like. So, that is my morals. I could keep going forever. I love talking about myself. I think I'm a gorgeous man. I'm very strong. I'm very good at basketball. A lot of great things about KJ Summers, but I think this is enough. I don't know if I'll ever release this to the public. I don't even have a name for this. So, yeah. Yeah. But hopefully, prayerfully, like I said, this could be like a gateway into the life that I've always dreamed of. But this is just the intro episode. I'm just kind of ranting here. It's been on my mind for a while. I'm going to re-listen to this, see if it's any good. If it is, then hopefully people listen. And then I don't like listening to things on YouTube. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to, like, if I get 1,000 views on a video, I will spend my own money and put this on Spotify so you can listen while you're doing whatever you're doing. So that is the goal. And then hopefully, like I said, I can build a brand. And one thing I really want to do is, like, have this going while I have regular conversations, like have a hangout. I'm rooming with my cousin who I've always, I see him like once or twice a year, and now we live together, which is like crazy for us. And what I want to do is like our conversations and like the way we've been raised, because I've heard some things about the way he's raised that I'm like, what the? And he hears things about the way I'm raised and he's like, what? So I really want to see like what that idea can be like, us having a natural conversation and you being like an audience while we're having this conversation. But, like I said, I'll see where this goes. I love talking. I love talking to myself. I have a hard time talking to like people and like sharing my emotions. So I feel like this could be something that's very helpful for me. But I guess we'll just have to see. Like I said, time will tell. And we'll go from there. Thank you for listening. If you made it this far, you're an OG. And I don't even have a name for this yet. So if you did make it this far, you're really an OG. And just thank you for listening. I'm very appreciative. Yeah.